Action. Good morning, everybody at home. My name is Ibikunle. I would like to take a general revision on biology, and I have here with me a very good question that has been done in the class as an examination, the last mock examination. That's the one I'm taking. And to start with, I will take the first question there in the general question that says, explain briefly sexual reproduction in rhizomes. Don't forget. Rhizomes. It is very, very vital that we have the detailed information about the family called fungi, because you cannot talk of rhizomes without mentioning the family. When I'm talking about family, we must equally have an understanding that every living thing has been categorized into kingdom, biological classification. We have the mineral kingdom, we have the protistal, we have the fungi, we have animalia, and we have plantae. Not to waste our time, we will now center on the kingdom fungi. What are the common characteristics of fungi? With the understanding that rhizomes is an example of a fungi. Fungi as a family are eukaryotic organism that has a definite nucleus, which means their organelles are well arranged. But the very common thing is that some of them might have chlorophyll, but this chlorophyll is not functioning in manufacturing of protein. And that's why we must have a background information of rhizomes before getting into that. Number one, no chlorophyll. No chlorophyll in rhizomes, which is a fungi. It has no, this very specific one has no chlorophyll. Therefore, it cannot manufacture its own food. For that very singular reason, it must look for a way of getting the needed energy and material. It now embarks on a saprophytic kind of feeding. In saprophytic feeding, they cannot manufacture food, but they secrete a special enzyme down through their body, outside of their body, into the target organism, digest the organism, and now absorb through a root-like structure known as rhizome. Rhizome. Don't forget, fungi, in which our point of concentration is rhizomes. It's not having chlorophyll, that has been settled. But more importantly, they are spore from, they use light to form spores, which means they need light for survival, not for photosynthesis, but for the formation of spore. So that, Ajibade, you are welcome. Thank you. And I would like you link other members of the class. That would be a very great thing. Yes. And more importantly, I want you to have the understanding that they are either saprophytic or parasitic. Every family of fungi, they are either saprophytic or parasitic. Not only that, they grow vegetative parts. Their vegetative part is called mycelium. Mycelium means a family that emanated from a cluster of hyphae. This hyphae could be a rooting hyphae or a branching hyphae or a standing hyphae. The standing hyphae is known as sporangial spore. What am I talking about? Yes. Standing. Let me have that down here. At the terminal end. Sporangial spore. Sporangium. And inside of those sporangiums are the pores. Then the hyphae that is connecting one rhizopus to another are called connecting hyphae. Why the one that are used rooting hyphae? We have other one, the standing hyphae known as sporangium, and they help in dissolving the organic material and absorb it into their body. They are either saprospermic or parasitic. The reproduction should be sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction. Don't forget, the asexual reproduction is majorly by the formation of spore. That spore, sporangial splits, discharge the spore. Even where you are staying now, I can assure you that you have a spore of rhizopus inside that room if an experiment is being conducted, because that is an easiest way of spreading their spore for multiplication. But the one we want to consider this one is sexual reproduction in rhizopus. The question, if you look at the question very, it said, explain briefly sexual reproduction in rhizopus. Having this underlying information, you must have the fact that the hyphae are branched, but sexual reproduction in rhizopus. How does it happen? The first thing we have is that the hyphae will come from either from different mycelia or the same mycelia. I've told you the meaning of this word mycelium, a cluster of hyphae that form a visible structure that you can see, form a mycelia, but the composition is made of hyphae. Now, it could be a different growth from different region, which means they can have mycelia A and mycelia B. Whenever there is a need for sexual reproduction in rhizopus, what you experience is a hyphae from mycelia A and another hyphae from mycelia B. They will come in contact. That is the first level, which means they grow. Another one, they form a contact, coming together and touching one another. That's the number. First thing, the hyphae they come together and touch. Yes. That's number one thing. Number two thing you will experience is, after they might have come together, is the eye file on the outer wall that has so many, this eye file, when they touch, they now form what we call cross wall. Cross wall. From each eye file, we have cross wall. Inside the cross wall, there are so many nuclei. We call this nuclei. Many. Which means the first stage is touching of the eye file. When they touch, the point of touching, there will be another wall. The first one is they form a cross wall. Number one, cross wall is formed. Cross wall formed. When cross wall formed, number two, the second thing that will happen is the disappearance at the point of touching, where the two eye file touches. The touching point will be absorbed and clear away, which means they clear away and they form a passage. That's the second thing that you experience. In that level, you will tell me that I have no cross wall. They burst and disappear. After they might have burst and disappear, there will now be movement of this nuclei joining with this other one. They fuse together. The nuclei fuse together, and if immediately, which means nuclei fuse together. When that has gone, the next thing is a coat is formed. A coat is formed. A black coat is formed, which has a rough black surface. After the nuclei might have formed a cloth. Don't forget, when the nuclei, they form in pair. One from here pair with this other one, and they join together to form the spore. The spore are now being enveloped inside another case known as the zygospore. Zygospore. Are we together? Yes, zygospore. Immediately after the zygospore, form, what you experience is that the eye file dry up, the two eye file dry up, and this zygospore, which is the zygote form, a reproductive product from the interaction of these two, now fall down. It fall down and remain passive until a conducive condition comes around. What is the conducive condition for the rhizopus to grow? Number one, it must have a moist environment. A moist environment must be ensured before the zygospores form. And number two, the temperature must be warm. If that has happened, what you realize is from the zygospore, let's come to this side. From the zygospore, another eye file now emerge from inside of this. This eye file now within an hour of 24, after it might have gotten to the right organic matter, right environmental condition, will germinate and form another sporangium. This sporangium is having spore inside, and it will get split, liberating the spore for dispersal. And that end the sexual reproduction in rhizopus. Let me quickly go back to what I've said. You must have the understanding that the rhizopus is non-septate. It doesn't have a cross wall, unlike other fungi. Non-septate. It has no cross wall. And you must understand that when it really undergo sexual, it is when the condition is not conducive that it thinks of the option. Is a rare case. Sometimes undergo sexual, but the most common one or the most convenient one is asexual reproduction, in which spore is formed. Therefore, you must have the understanding. Then another important thing you must note about this question is that they might not ask us directly about rhizopus, about mold. You must know and have the understanding that fungi are in different forms. Even the yeast, the common yeast, is a fungi. Don't forget that. The penicillium is a fungi. And another one that is so common is the mold. Don't forget, I told you another name for mold is rhizopus. Don't forget that. Mold or rhizopus. That should be taken very proper care of. Let's go to question 1b. A student stepped on a snake. It cried for help. A student stepped on a snake and it cried for help. Ajibade, do you have that question with you? Okay. Your response is yes. If you have it, or I should write it on the board. The question is, a student suddenly stepped on a big snake. It cried for help and ran away. A student suddenly stepped on a big snake. It cried and ran away. We have two major events that has happened there. They are coordinated. One, nervous system, because you have seen a snake. The brain and the nervous system are involved, sending a signal at within a second to the hormonal system. What hormonal system? Emergency hormone. And you know the common name for emergency hormone. We've discussed that during the course of our lesson. Emergency hormone. Adrenal gland. Where can we find adrenal gland? At the top of the kidney. Adrenal gland. Emergency hormone at the top of the kidney. Immediately a student step on the snake, the next thing that will happen is the nervous system coordinate itself and pass a fast information to the emergency hormone. And that shows that there is a need for us to know the detail about hormone. What are hormones? They are a very minute quantity of secretion from an endocrine gland, secreted at one spot and function at the target spot through the help of blood that serve as carrier. Hormonal system is a very, very integral system that help in coordination apart from nervous system. Its own coordination is lasts longer, although some are very fast, and the like of that is adrenal gland. Adrenal gland located at the top of kidney, and it secretes its content directly into the blood. Blood carry it to where it's needed. And the next question they ask here, Abu told us that a student stepped on a big snake and they cried for help and ran away. The next question they ask is, name the hormone produced in the body for the reaction. No other hormone than adrenal gland. Adrenal gland. That's the spot of production. What is it secreting? adrenaline. That's the hormone. Adrenaline is the hormone secreted that help in the emergency. That is the question they ask, and that is what you give. The next question to that is, in which part of the human body is hormone named in A produces? In which part of the body? I've answered that during the course of my explanation. The first one is adrenaline. That's the hormone produced. Where is it being produced? At the top of the kidney. At the top of the kidney. That's the point of secretion. You go straight to the answer. State 5 changes that must have taken place as a result of the hormone. 5 changes that must have taken place as a result of hormone. 5 changes. As a result of secretion of adrenaline hormone. Number 1, the first thing, which is a fast withdrawal of the leg through the help of the nervous system. I told you about nervous system is involved in here. A fast withdrawal of the leg, because sight is involved. It has seen it. A signal is sent to brain. Sympathetic nerve involved, parasympathetic sent this way. Therefore, number 1 thing you notice about this is the adrenal hormone for quick rest. Okay, adrenal hormone is secreted into the blood. When adrenal hormone is secreted into the blood, the next thing is there is increase in heart beats. There is increase in breathing, inhalation and exhalation. It will be breathing fast because the blood must have been carried down to the heart, at which it now reacts, increases breathing or the heartbeat. Hormone, it increases the breathing, inhalation and exhalation. It increases this. And when this is done, what you realize about it is that when this increases, it allows for easy movement of oxygen that is needed as a fuel for an instant supply of energy inside the cell. The first thing is increase in heartbeat, and when heartbeat is increased, increase in inhalation. Inhalation via the alveoli trap the oxygen very far. The oxygen carried by hemoglobin run the blood and join inside the cell for a special reaction. That's number 1. Number 2 is liver cell. The liver cell now pick and start converting the stored glucose back into the useful glucose. What do I mean by this? When there is excess production of starch, don't forget, liver regulate the amount of sugar that enter into the blood, which means there will be an excess supply. When this excess supply is in place, it is being converted into a store form known as the glycogen inside the liver. This same glycogen is what is now being reconverted to get the needed glucose that needed for instant supply of energy. Mind you, insulin at the pancreas help functioning at the liver regulating. But there is another special hormone there's another special hormone that help in converting the glycogen into glucose, known as the glucagon. Insulin for converting into a useful store form, while glucagon in converting back to the glucose needed form. When the glucose needed form is supplied, what you see is that a ready needed energy that doesn't need to pass through digestive system is being supplied into the blood, and this gives the muscle an ability to move away fast, which means it increases. I firstly said it secretes adrenaline hormone. After the secretion, the second thing that happens is that it increases the breathing, inhalation and exhalation. Apart from these, then the liver converts the stored glucose into a soluble form for instant use by the body cell. Yes, having done this, number 4 thing you realize is when the energy is available, it makes it easier. There is dilation of the pupils. You see more clearly and you run faster, and it controls the dilation, opening of the eyelids and for clear vision. Not only this, the last one is that the animal or the girl involved has a needed energy to escape from the spot of the event, so that it take a run away from, that's the 5th one, the girl run away from the spots. Yes, that is a very important thing to note. But before I leave that side, I used to tell you that hormone is a very common question that has been in trend. Even if you check all the past questions you are having, hormone has been a common question in this section of your examination. Then that now brings us to a little information that we need to know about hormone. Yes, I've given you some other one. I just want to give you some more. Number 1, I want to talk about hypothalamus. Hypothalamus, and where is it functioning, and what is the real function of hypothalamus? Hypothalamus secretes an hormone that controls other hormonal systems, especially the pituitary hormone, which means it is a central control section present at the brain, on top of the pituitary and the pineal body, that control all the involuntary action. And you must take note of that. The special information there is that it regulates the release of pituitary hormone, which coordinate the endocrine system. Hypothalamus do this. Then another one, apart from hypothalamus hormone, that you must take note of is the pineal gland. Pineal gland secretes melatonin, and this helps us to regulate our reading. the daily reading, the way you move your body, the way you talk, the way you act, all these are being controlled by pineal body. And you must not forget the parathyroid. The parathyroid hormone, secreting parathyroid hormone, and it increases the calcium level in the blood. Then thymus and the other one that we've mentioned. Because of our time, let's move straight to the next question in this side. He said, in a tabular form, state 3 differences between excretion in flowering plants and excretion in human. Excretion in flowering plant and excretion, but the statement is in a tabular form. In a tabular form, which means preparation of table is a must for you in a tabular form. Therefore, let me read the question again. It said, in a tabular form, state 3 differences between excretion in flowering plant and excretion in human. Excretion in plants or flowering plants and excretion in animal. Don't forget, excretion in plant has no special organs of excretion. It has no special organ of excretion. It is only through the stomata and lenticel that the plant remove the waste product. But in animal, it has special organs of secretion, special organs of removing waste, or special organs of excretion, i.e. kidney, skin, liver, and so on and so forth. They are special organs. Then the removal of the waste in plant is slow. It is slow. Slow in plant. It can take a season after the flower might have been produced, especially the anthocyanin on the petal is a form of waste. The rennin, the tannin at the back of the plant, they are a waste. And look at the period it will take for a plant to grow before producing the bark that will not peel off until it is cut down. Therefore, the method of removing the waste in plant is slow. It is fast. It is fast in animal. Imagine the number of time animal passes out its waste in animal. It is fast in animal. Not only that, we have some special material that are being removed during the process of excretion. CO2 are removed as a waste, water are removed as a waste in plant, even oxygen after photosynthesis is removed as a waste in plants, and not only this, tannin as a waste, anthocyanin. Then not only that, don't forget the gum, the mucilage that are being excreted. But in animal, it removes its waste in another different form. It should be through urea, urine, ammonium compound. What other thing? Ammonium compound. Yes, Ajibade, are you still there? Can you give me another way of removing waste from the animal apart from urea, urine, ammonium compound? Don't forget the sweat gland. Sweat gland. Sweat. Are you with me? And don't forget that of bilirubin. Can you tell me where bilirubin is being removed? From where? By what? Are you there, Ajibade? Yes. Okay. Bilirubin. I've told you there's a special organ known as spleen. Spleen. And don't forget that red blood cell has a lifespan of about 3 months. After the expiration, it must be removed from the body. Spleen help in removing this. And when this is done, the product, the waste product, is being carried to the liver to be stored as bilirubin. Therefore, liver now package it inside the gallbladder. Hope you are still remembering. Yes. Green pigment at the top of the liver that is called bile is a product from the spleen that the red blood cell destroy. The compound inside are now being dropped there, and they are now being secreted as a bile duct during the process of emulsification of fats. Hope you've not forgotten. Then part of this waste are being removed. Therefore, liver can help in removing waste in animal, but this doesn't happen in plant. Take note of that. Yes, 3 points have been asked for. Then the related question that I want you to study is balancing level of glucose. Okay. Another important thing I want you to take note of in this class is that when they talk about adrenal gland, the next question will never come in this way, but they are still coming back to hormone. And where I want you to center your reading is how is body maintaining balance of glucose through the help of a special organs, liver. How? When the sugar is too much, how is the body maintaining it? You know, it has to do with homeostatics, maintaining the balance in the body. Liver does that for the blood sugar. 2 hormones are involved, glucagon and insulin. When there is excess, insulin will come into place, converting the excess into the glycogen. Don't forget. But when there is hypoglycemia, when there is a little reduction in the level of blood sugar, what will happen? The glucagon converted the stored glycogen into glucose and make up for the needed energy. And that is how the body maintains the balance of glucose. Read about balancing the glucose level in the body through the help of hormone. That will be of a very greater help. Then I move straight away to another question here. He said, list 2 organisms found in plant cells that are responsible for the excretion of metabolic waste. Please, Ajibade, you must take note of this. Is there any other person joining with me? Let me check. Yes, take note of this. Let me read the question again. List 2 organisms found in a plant cell that are responsible for the excretion of metabolic waste. Again, 2 organisms found in a plant cell. They are not asking about organism, the part of an organism that help in excretion. No, that help in removal of waste. No, plant cell specific. Therefore, you must call back the memory of the structure of a plant cell. That's number 1. Even if you are having beside you, you can open your textbook to the page of plant cell. Which of the organelles? What do you understand by organelles? In a cell, we have different structures performing different functions. I will give you one example. Mitochondria is for supplying energy. Therefore, mitochondria is an organelle. Golgi apparatus, or what we call Golgi body, it helps in movement of material within the blood, within the cell, is an organelle. Endoplasmic reticulum, the vacuole, lysosome, and the like of that. Those are what we call the organelles, and they help to perform special function. But the question now asks specifically, which of the two organelles help in removing waste in plant cell? Specify. And the answer to that, number one answer is the vacuole. Vacuole. Are you with me? Vacuole. Number one that help in removing waste is vacuole. Although sometimes we call it food vacuole, that is meant for food, while other one is contractile vacuole for osmoregulation and removal of waste. Don't forget that. Why some through diffusion? That must be taken care of. Apart from vacuole, we have the Golgi body. Number two is the Golgi body. Why did I mention Golgi body? Because if you look at the function of Golgi body, is that it helps in transferring materials within the cell. And the third one that is like of that is endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum. And I think you've not forgotten very fast, that's part of the cell, endoplasmic reticulum. They exist in two forms. We have the rough endoplasmic reticulum that has a ribose, which is a protein on top of it. Anytime you have ribose on top of endoplasmic reticulum, we call it rough endoplasmic reticulum. But when ribose is not there, we call it smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And all these parts help in transferring material within the plant cell. Then that takes us to question 2. Explain how the leaf of a flowering plant is adapted to photosynthesis. How the leaf of a flowering plant is adapted to photosynthesis. Please, I want you to figure out what is the position of the leaf relative to the direction of light. You know, in your physics, you did something about linear property of light. Light moves in a straight line, isn't it? Which means light, they are coming from up, down, vertically. Anything receiving it must be tangential to this vertical direction. Therefore, the best level to tap it is to be horizontal to the direction, which means it makes a special angle. Are you with me? The best angle is angle 90. Most of the time, the leaf stalk, what is holding the leaf, is called the leaf stalk. It's not at 90. But it is greater than 45, so that when the light is coming, it will be easily tapped on it. And that is why you see the structure of the leaf being a little more than being on a straight line. It raises itself to a little angle of about 45 degrees. Look at this. This is 90. The leaf now rates itself to about 45 degrees. If you look at the axial it forms is about 45 degrees. This 45 degrees enable the light to come into it. That is part of the adaptive features of the leaf. And most of the leaf, they are outside. They are moving towards the direction of light. Positive phototropism. They move towards the light. Even if you have them growing inside a dark region, you will see the leaf tracing the light. They will move towards that direction of light. Therefore, they are positive phototropism. But the question here is that Explain how the leaf of a flowering plant is adapted to photosynthesis. Number one is their position. The position of the petiole to the direction of the light is tangential. Therefore, it helps in photosynthesis. Now, another important point is that you must know we have a vascular material that transfer water. Abi, can you remind me of that part of a plant that transfer water and the plant that transfer manufacture food? Ajibade, can you tell me that? The part of the plant that transfer water and the part of plant that transfer photosynthetic food. Okay, let me quickly help you. Don't forget phloem. Phloem helps to transfer photosynthetic material, while the xylem. Therefore, part of the adaptive feature is the supply of the water that is needed through the help of a connecting material known as the xylem. Therefore, xylem tissue help in photosynthesis. Are you with me? Because it supplies water. Not only that, you know, leaf has different parts. The apex, isn't it? The apex, the midrib, midribs. Don't forget. Then the petiole or leaf stalk. Don't forget that. And the lamina. I've told you about lamina. This is a pot where cooking is done in the leaf. The photosynthetic processes take place at the lamina because of the presence of chlorophyll. And you must not forget so fast, we have two stages in photosynthesis: the dark stage and the light stage. The light stage involves the use of light in breaking down the water molecule H2O into H plus and OH minus. Hope you've not forgotten that. We call it photolysis of water. And another one is the CO2. Can you remind me of the need for CO2? No, CO2 is part of the raw material for the production of carbohydrate. Now, CO2 combined with the hydrogen and they form carbon that is hydrated. Carbon that is hydrated. Hope you've not forgotten that. Carbohydrate. Are you with me? While the remaining molecule of OH combine in two forms to form 2H2O and O2. Oxygen is being liberated. Oxygen that I told you about, that is part of the waste product of the plant. Hope you've not forgotten that. Therefore, the question is now asking you, explain how the leaf of a flowering plant is adapted for photosynthesis. Number one, they are green in color, which help to trap the solar energy inside the sun. They are green in color, which help to attract or to trap the solar energy that is needed in photosynthesis. Are we together? Then another important thing you must note is that apart from their green color, apart from their position, water is needed, and that water is held by the xylem tissue. Xylem tissue help in this operation. Okay. Are you still there, Ajibade? Why not invite other colleagues? Another time I'm coming is on Thursday. I will find it interesting if you are many. Exactly. Ajibade said presence of chlorophyll. Okay. Thank you. That's good. Chlorophyll. Presence of chlorophyll. Thank you very much. Because it's green in color, it has chlorophyll. That chlorophyll traps the solar energy. That solar energy splits the water molecule. Water molecule combined with the carbon dioxide to form carbon that is hydrated, carbon that has joined with water. We could now call it carbohydrate, and the simplest form is glucose. And this glucose is now moved into a reservoir with the help of another tissue known as phloem. Is that clear? Those are the processes that help. This Explain how the leaf of a flowering plant is adapted for photosynthesis. I've said 3 things that you must not forget so fast. Their color, green color, their placement, their position, which is 45 degrees, with the help of the leaf stalk to the side of the stem, so that they can trap the sunlight. And more importantly, the tissue inside them, which is silent tissue, that bring about the water that is needed for photosynthesis, and every other more information. Now, question 2b, describe briefly the mode of feeding in tapeworm. Describe briefly the mode of feeding in tapeworm. Yes, classification of animal. You know, I told you about kingdom. Are you with me? How many kingdom did I mention? Anybody? How many? 5, you are right. 5 kingdom. I started with what? Moneral, which is bacteria and cyanobacteria. Protista, which is your amoeba, or the protozoan family. Are you with me? Then I move to the fungi, which is an example of rhizopus, the mold, the penicillium, and the yeast, isn't it? Then I move to plantae, which is angiosperm and gymnosperm. You've not forgotten that, I could see. Then the last one is animal kingdom. Oh, you remember colentrata, you remember arthropoda, and the family of that. You understand? All these are the class. I now want to drift a little back into what this question is asking. It said, describe briefly the mode of feeding in tapeworm. I now move to animal kingdom. In that animal kingdom, I told you about a flatworm. Flat. They derive the name from flats. Plates, like a plate. Therefore, another name given to them apart from flatworm is plate helminths. Helminths means worm. Plate helminths. Plate helminths. A plate worm. Are you with me? Oh, hope you've not forgotten that tapeworm is not the only one in this family, in this group. Can you remind me of others that are in the group of plate helminths or flatworm? Okay, you mean liver flukes? You are right. Then another one, blood flukes. You are equal, all right. But don't tell me filaria worm. Filaria worm is part of the roundworm. White guinea worm is part of the roundworm. Are you with me? Oh, thank you very much for that clarification. And you know, earthworm is an annelida. It's different from their own group. Take note of that. But where I'm going specifically now is mode of feeding in tapeworm. Number 1, their body system is adapted to feeding parasitically. They undergo parasitic feeding. What do I mean? Look at the head. Where can you find the tapeworm? Can you remind me of the common place where you can find the tapeworm? Okay, inside the stomach, especially the ruminant. You can find them inside. Where in the stomach? You know, stomach is all encompassing. Okay, at the small intestine. Where in the small intestine? Very close to villi. Are you with me? Where the digested food material are being absorbed into the body. You know that? Okay, thank you very much for recollecting. Now, I want you to take this as a tip that you must not forget very fast. There is no digestive system in tapeworm. Tapeworm has no what? No digestive system. They don't have digestive tract. They don't use digestive enzyme. Is that clear? Mind you, their body is like a plate. It's flat. They are pointed and smallest at the head region, but the head is not flat. The head is spherical but pointed like a pinhead. Oh, you are right. Yes. And they extend their body ascendically down the body. What do I mean? Ascending from 1 to 2 to 3, which means the smallest part is the head. The next to that is the neck region, and the next is the body that made up of proglottids. Oh, proglottids. Yes. Now, after okay, let's make it better. Many proglottids joining together to form you the proglottids. Is that clear? Now, don't forget, it is very, very important for you to know that their body is separated into proglottids. They are flat. The only thing that connects them together is their nervous system. Nervous system connect them together. Excretory system connect them together. But they have a separate reproductive system, which means each proglottid is having its own reproductive system. Thank you very much. Yes. And the question is asking you not about reproductive, it's asking you about the feeding of tapeworm. What do they mean there? What make them adapt to that feeding mean? Number one is the head. The head of the tapeworm is made up of rostellum. Rostellum, you know rostellum now? A bud portion. Rostellum. And this is used to attach. Okay. This is used to attach itself to the wall of the small intestine. At the base of the rostellum is an hook-like structure. Hook. You've done fishery several times now. Hook is meant for what? To attach. Yes. For a greater attachment, they still have hooks. Not only that, they now have sucker. The sucker are four. One from this side, one from this side, one at the front, one at the back. Are you with me? This one sucker. All these three together, scolex. 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 Mind you, this pinhead is now having a neck region. And this is the fastest growing part of a tapeworm before you have the body dividing into different parts. Proglottis. Each of these divisions. Proglottis. The most mature ones are found at the tape end. Are you with me? At the tape end. Now, concerning their feeding, this rostellum, the hooks and the sucker help to attach the animal strongly with the intestine so that they will not be swept away by the movement and the rhythmical contraction of the small intestine. To note that when they are now talking about mode of feeding in tapeworm, you must have the understanding that it's not using its head to absorb the food. The only part it's using is its body that made up of what we call cortical. Cortical. This cortical serves two purposes. You know, naturally inside the small intestine, there is a finished product. And there are so many finished enzymes that are competing in order to give the primary product that is needed in digestion. Don't forget the glucose for the carbohydrates, amino acid for the protein, fat and glycerol for the lipid. But mind you, there are so many enzymes there. Enzymes can affect tapeworm if their body, they can digest them. Don't forget, I told you about protein enzyme, protease. They are equally inside the small intestine. In order to prevent the attack of enzymes on the tapeworm, they have their body covered with cortical. Therefore, not only that, they now absorb the already digested food material into their body via diffusion. Are you with me? And any waste, they pass it out equally. Therefore, take note of that. It absorbs the already digested food of the host through its cortical by division. Therefore, the simple explanation of the feeding method of tapeworm is that the body of the tapeworm absorbs the already digested food material of the host into their body without working for it, and that's why they are called parasite. They will be growing, but the host will be leaning, and that's why you got to take care of yourself using deworming and even your animal. For your animal to grow better, you need to use a dewormer for them. Now, that takes us to question 2C. Name one minerals element each needed for proper functioning of bone. Name one minerals each needed for proper functioning of bone. Yes, I know you are talking. I can hear you from here. Are you still with me? The only thing that can make me to enjoy the class is your... Are you there? Okay, thank you very much. Now, I'm saying something about name one minerals. There's difference between vitamins and minerals. Oh, you've not forgotten what is called minerals? Metallic material that are needed to give strength. You still want to ask me about what do I mean by minerals? Okay, I will now ask you, what do you understand by rock? Okay, rock are made up of mineral resources. What is that minerals inside of them? They are metallic material. Are you with me? Okay, give me one example of the material, metallic material. Metal. Iron is there now. Okay, sodium is there. All these are material that give the strength to the rock. Likewise, human being, plant and animal need a strength from these minerals, and that is why the presence of the minerals is very important, especially in bone formation. Bone formation. I come across a very good information of recent that tells me that there is what we call tocopherol and another coenzymes that help in regulating the amount of calcium that is absorbed by bone. Therefore, you must know one of the major minerals that is needed in bone formation is calcium and phosphorus. Calcium and phosphorus. Is that clear? Therefore, calcium and phosphorus. Number 2, the one that is needed in red blood cell. What are the blood cells needed in red blood cell? Yes, I will tell you. Iron. Can you remind me of the usefulness of iron? Oh, you are a science student now. Fe2+. Yes, that is iron. That iron is present inside the red blood cell in form of what? Hemoglobin. Isn't it? Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin. Yes. That hemoglobin, it is the carrier of the oxygen. When it attached to oxygen, it is called oxyl hemoglobin. Isn't it? Oxyl hemoglobin. Okay. When it is taking it back to the lung, it carries it as carboxyl hemoglobin, and so on and so forth. Then the third one is talk about thyroid gland. Minerals present there is iodine. 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 Then my next class, I want to give you an assignment. Please, I will still continue with that 2015 question. WAEC 2015. It will be our guide, the one we did the mock. And more importantly, make yourself available and invite others. I'm coming back by Thursday at the same time. But what will give me happiness is when you are many linking up. Thank you, Ajibade, for being with me and the rest of you. God bless you.